Welcome everyone to our PDO Max vlog. I'm really excited to have a guest and dear friend, Barbara Devlin, here with me. Barbara, hello. Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you for inviting me.
Absolutely. I'm really excited to be working with you. We've worked together for over 20 years in education, skincare, everything in the aesthetic industry that you can think of. And so now we are affiliating together with Anna Lotan product. I can't wait for you to share more about that and created a combination protocol with amazing results with our PDO Max Glowpin. So maybe start off with some of your background and how we met and how we got here.
Okay, so I've been a licensed esthetician and manicurist, actually. I never got rid of my manicure license for 30 years now. I went to Catherine Hines, kind of a very small, how small the world is. So I am now the United States distributor for Anna Lotan Pro, and we are located 10 miles north of Boston. We're in Woburn, Massachusetts. So the actual building that I'm in, and if I can look straight out the window, I look at the building where when I went to Catherine Hines 30 years ago, she was right across the street from me. So Catherine Hines is right around the corner now, but I just feel like this street, Olympia Ave, I will begin and end my aesthetic career here. So, I worked in a salon full time for 10 years. Every time I would go shopping at Catherine Hines, the director of education at the time used to say to me, "You should work here." I had gone to after high school when I went to Salem State. I went for teaching, and she's like, "You should teach here. You should teach here." And I ended up with contact dermatitis, actually, like a really bad case of contact dermatitis. And the dermatologist was like, "You can no longer do this full time." But so I started teaching part-time at Catherine Hines, and that's where I met Jaclyn. Her aunt was there at the time. I mean, it's where everyone's so connected here. And we've just stayed friends, in all these years in the industry, working together at the school, running events together, and just loving the industry. Like we both, I love the industry as much today as I did 30 years ago when I became an esthetician. And, Jaclyn is the same. So I am now the United States distributor for Anna Lotan Pro. So like I said, we're 10 miles north of Boston. We have a training facility. And on the other side of the building, I have a store, and the store is for licensed professionals only. We only sell to licensed professionals. And that's a big advantage for you as the esthetician, because then your client has to come back to you to get their retail, to get their home care products. So anyone is welcome to, if you're licensed, you're always welcome to come in here and see the facility, or shop in the store, as long as, like I said, we do check everyone's license, but we love people to come in and visit. We host all kinds of trainings at the facility. So, if you follow us on social media, you'll always see what's, up and coming and what classes are coming up next.
Great. Well, last June, so it's almost a year, talk about full circle again. PDO Max hosted our Train the Training event in your location. It was a perfect location, large enough and really accommodating to the facility in the sense of having the aesthetic beds all there, all the materials you needed, and a space for us to do the education portion as well. So we really enjoyed that. And I also want to bring up, I know that you have other devices come in and teach and educate. So really not limiting it to necessarily estheticians, because there are sometimes that we've been in classes with RNs in your location, and NPs and more medical clinical providers as well, which is great because there's a synergy now.
Right, because I do rent out the space, and I do have some device companies that use the space that really you need a medical director to carry their device. But with that comes estheticians, what Jaclyn just said, nurses, NPs, they all come. And not everyone that works in a med spa works there full time. So they could have like a side business where they're looking to bring in products that are under our scope of, practice for estheticians. We also have, I already have uh, partnerships. So on our website, we have modality packages. So we already partner with other companies in the industry. And when we partner with companies in the industry, device companies, they're always in our scope. So I work with MBK, I work with 70 Wellness. So if you go onto our website under modality packages, we have all kinds of devices. So we have ultrasonics, RF, microcurrent devices, and then we pair with some of the Anna Lotan products. And then of course you get the protocol with it. So when we started talking to me about the Glowpin, I thought it was like a perfect synergy to work with because with this device, we can even work with other modalities that I already have in the store. So, it's great to use with ultrasonic. If you wanted to dermaplane before you do, or oil plane, whichever, your preference, these are other modalities that you can do with the Glowpin. So it was kind of the perfect fit for us because we're already in the aesthetic genre, trying to help estheticians bring in other devices that can help them, maximize their income. They can do it as an add-on. They could do it as a full facial. I know I've taught, microneedling classes or microchanneling classes. And this is just, to me, it's another tool in the toolbox. The advantage for me with the Glowpin is that it's 0.5 millimeters. So we're staying in the epidermis. So we know that we're staying within our scope of practice. And it's a more superficial type of wound where we can work on hyperpigmentation, brightening. When we're staying in the epidermis, there's so many more things that we as estheticians can treat that we don't need to send our clients out to a med spa. So I feel like this helps us, capture that client base that thinks they may need to go to a med spa, but they really don't have to. It's a very safe treatment. You don't need to numb the client first.
Right.
No pain involved. Numbing just adds more, it's another 20 minutes or something, to the treatment. So,
Yeah.
um,
And cost.
in cost, right? And, there's always that risk. There's clients that have, reactions to anything that ends in cane. So like lidocaines, benzoate, any of those, right? So,
Mhm.
it's safe, it works. And you know, you really want to make sure that when we're offering, these other treatments to clients, that they are going to be, it's a safe treatment. And I feel like because the needles are 0.5, if you're a salon owner,
Mhm.
you do have a microneedling device that you can maybe
Yeah.
change the depth of penetration, and you train your staff to stay within scope of practice. But, there's always a cowgirl in the room. And then, they may treat a little deeper than really they should. And then
Mhm.
there's issues. So I feel like for an owner, this is a great device because your staff stays within scope.
Absolutely. And I love all the points that you just brought up about, yes, safe scope, but still being able to give our clients the results that they're looking for. I love the evolution of this industry from I graduated 24 years ago, and think about all the modalities that now we can work with and that have been developed over these years. And this is one of them that not only is a simple way to add in as an a la carte to boost obviously results, but also your revenue, your profit margin, because the device is a very reasonably priced cost of goods, but also that we are able to elevate the practice in itself by using a device like this in conjunction, like what you said, with dermaplaning, ultrasonic, maybe peels. And Anna Lotan, I know why you're a fan of it. I love the product as well, and what it does for the clients out there when we are taking from the skin, but you're able to with your product and using an infusion device like Glowpin to infuse ingredients to help promote that anti-aging, antioxidating, and potentially even healing. It's just such a great synergy. So the protocol we developed has wonderful results, and there's so many other ways that we can continue to be very creative with this device and Anna Lotan product.
Mhm. So, I've created three different protocols, and the protocols, one is for age management, with hydration, another one for pigment, and another one like mainly, like brightening. So it's mainly brightening, aging, and then hydration. Okay. Now the three, it doesn't matter which protocol you start with, the three products that I recommend that we use with them. So the first one, so under the Anna Lotan Pro umbrella, we have a newer line. It launched about a year ago. It's called Rosie's, and Rosie's was created, by our formulator. All of our products, another little side is all of our products are made in-house. And that's really important, and that's really unique. Very few companies make their own products now. So what the advantage of that is, we can tweak and we can change things as needed. So Anna Lotan's daughter, Anna Lotan, passed away a few years ago. She lived to be 96. She had a nice long life. She was the founder, formulator, chemist, esthetician, electrologist. So she was all of those in the educator. Her daughter, Leora, now is the formulator. So she created this line. So in the Rosie's line, the reason that I like, this is a foam cleanser, but it's really gentle on the skin. But the reason I like to use it with the device is it also has an antimicrobial. So if we know that we're going to be opening up the skin, now granted it's, tiny little, we're only staying in the epidermis, but we still want to make sure that the skin is clean and healthy before we even start the treatment. So that's the first product that we recommend. Then we have a gel mask. Now the gel mask is, the two main ingredients would be Ace Manon, which is a freeze-dried premium aloe vera, and it also has a freeze-dried green tea. This works through osmosis. So we all know that a hydrated and plump cells always work at their optimum. That's how everything works better when it's hydrated. Okay. So
Absolutely.
we put this product on the skin, a thin layer, and we let it sit there for about 10 minutes. And this helps to plump and soften. It works through osmosis, and it helps to plump and soften the cells. And then we'll just, wipe it off. Then before we do the treatment, we recommend a gentle exfoliator. So this product is one of my favorites, and it's my favorite in the whole Rosie's line. It's called Exfoliate and Restore. And what's really different about it is it comes out as a gel. I don't know if you really be able to see I don't really think it's a
I can
beautiful,
see
like
that it's
amber
gel
colored,
based.
it's really,
Love it.
really
Love it.
pretty. So
Hmm.
our delivery system is what sets us apart from a lot of other lines in the industry. So a lot of our products come out as in one medium and with massage turn into another. So this comes out as a gel. And as we start to massage it in, the warmth from our fingertips, it inverts into an oil. And the product has hyaluronic acid. So it's a completely different mindset of how to exfoliate. We're used to exfoliating with lactic acid or glycolic or, whatever it is. Okay. So this is completely different. This exfoliates with hyaluronic acid. As you massage it in and it inverts into that oil, the hyaluronic is the cells are drinking in the hyaluronic acid. They swell, then they're touching, they have nowhere to go, and then they gently exfoliate. So this is a really nice way to prep the skin before we then go into the Glowpin treatment. Now, after those three steps, depending, it doesn't matter which protocol you use, I recommend those three products to start with. Then we do the Glowpin actual treatment. And then depending on what the client's main concern was, if it's pigment, I'll recommend the Mandelic exfoliating gel. This has mandelic, lactic, and niacinamide. It has a
Love that
pH of
ingredient.
3. Yeah, it's really, really nice. And it's a pH of 3.8. So it doesn't irritate the skin. It's a really nice product. If the client came to us, to you, and their main concern was, lines and wrinkles, more of an age management, then I recommend Cell to Cell. Think of the name of the product, Cell to Cell. So this is our peptide serum, cell to cell communication. Now we do have a new product in the line. I don't know if I have it on my back bar with me, but it's called Xanthox. So Xanthox it's a kind of like a Botox in a bottle. So that's another option you could add into the age management. It is 10% azurine, which is a really high percentage. And that's the main ingredient, but the name Xanthox, it comes from a Szechuan, it's a pepper. And it does have a little bit of that kind of that numbing effect. So it kind of, it helps to stop the movement a little bit, right? So
Makes sense.
we have a before and after photo of a client in her late 40s who was going for a Botox treatment. And I said, listen, try this product. And it's a year later, it was last April, and she hasn't had Botox yet. And the before and after,
Wow.
it is amazing. Like if you're older, it may take longer, but she was in her like 40s, mid 40s, and the results were really great. And then if the client is really looking for hydration, I recommend HA Maximal. So this is a high molecular weight. This again, a newer product for us. High molecular weight, hyaluronic, loaded with polysaccharides. It's a really nice product. That is the back bar size, but it does come in a retail size. And that is one of the products I use every day now. I use it day and night. Absolutely love it. The big thing with HA is you always have to remember it's hygroscopic. So it does, draw moisture. So you always have to make sure you occlude it. So you would use the hyaluronic, and then we would put, a moisturizer like some of the protocols. I have the Resilience 99. It's loaded with antioxidants. So,
Love that one.
the three basic products to start, doesn't matter what protocol, the Rosie's from the Rosie's line, and then you would finish with products from the Pro line. So, and there's
So,
options.
and I also think a really great point to bring up is even the most sensitive skin that still needs treatment with Rosie's and also Glowpin, it really still is a safe treatment that's recommended for someone with even the thinner skin, the more delicate, sensitive skin, because you are, you're working progressively and at a good pace where it's not aggressively, and that doesn't always get the best results. And so I know that you and I really align with that belief in aesthetic treatment. So I really couldn't think of any better way to kind of merge these together. And when I'm always doing trainings, I get this question all the time. And I think it's important to hear from other estheticians that have the expertise of how do you feel it compares to microneedling versus stamping? Because my answer is always you're actually infusing, and again at that topical level which you talked about, where microneedling, the technique is different, you're dragging, and with this, the product that you are infusing is coming through those 32 gauge needles. The Glowpin is 19 needles. They're stationary, so no matter how hard you pump or how hard you try to press it in, you might get a little pinpoint bleeding depending on the areas that you're treating, but the needles are not retracting the way that you can control your microneedling pens. So it is what it is, and you can be heavy handed, go 1, 2, 3 passes potentially, but it's like you said to the owners out there, it's safe. And I really love the effectiveness of the glow pen because, again, you're not numbing, you're not creating that potential of, reaction, whatever that might be. There's less downtime, but the results are so great. So, how do you compare, and how would you choose to do maybe glow pen over microneedling?
I agree with everything you said. And I also feel like you can compare it, but then you don't even have to compare because clients love, you have to remember, depending on the age group who you're working on, okay? They're on TikTok. They're all on their phones, and they're listening to non-professionals give advice. But what I do notice is they're always looking for the new thing. Okay. So I feel like if you have set up a treatment plan for your client and maybe you have peels and maybe you have a microneedling device and then you bring in the Glowpin, I think for the client, I think they really love that it's something new. Now, you have to remember this is like a mesotherapy treatment, and mesotherapy treatments have been popular in Europe and South America for years, forever. Okay. So
Mhm.
this is it's a new way to introduce it. And what I do like is that you can control the depth. It never changes. So, if you're using a regular microneedling device and, I do the crosshatch, there's many different techniques, but I usually will do crosshatch. And then you are tempted sometimes that you want to increase it a little bit. And I feel like this keeps us in scope of practice. So we're protected, with our insurance, and it makes it a very safe treatment for the client. And we are infusing, the product is coming through instead of the product on the skin like it does with microneedling, the product is in the device. So I feel it's better infusion of product than just having product, lying on top of the skin.
Absolutely. And for those that are trying to treat resurfacing and acne scarring, again, it doesn't mean it even has to be an either or, because there might be a few treatments you do deeper microneedling with whatever corrective treatment you want to go. And then this is a really great maintenance. So it really just depends on the purpose. If we're infusing for age management, or if you are, working on fine lines and wrinkles, this is absolutely effective. But if you are looking at scarring, resurfacing, then in your scope of whatever those regulations are, I think, again, you could still do a treatment plan and incorporate both with, all of the great corrective products that you have, and home care along with, treatment. So another piece I want to bring up is that the reason we've really partnered with you is you have this distribution center and store for Massachusetts, but the New England market, and you're able to really ship out anywhere. So anyone that is already using Anna Lotan or interested, you are now a distributor for Glowpin, and they can purchase it through you with the protocol packages. And there's just so much that you can grow within your menu and a la carte. And that's sort of what I think we're always trying to do with our accounts, is increase their business and look at their revenue, and how can you, capitalize on an ROI. And this is a great way to do that, through, again, your scope, but also within treatments. And it's really, we're seeing great results as well. So it's such a win-win all the way around.
And it's affordable for the esthetician, which then makes it affordable for the client.
Yep,
So,
exactly.
it's a win-win for everybody all around. So it's
Yeah,
great.
absolutely. That's so great. Anything else to add about the industry? And I feel like we are seasoned, so it's something to
Right? I know.
always talk about and reflect on.
Right.
I'm impressed with not only ingredients. You just talked about some really azulene and niacinamide, and we didn't know the knowledge 20 something years ago of what was accessible to us. And yes, Europe gets mesotherapy many, many years ago, but we're at least catching up here in the US when it comes to technology, devices, and ingredients that we can get our hands on. And that's something to celebrate for sure.
Well, I think what's important is, I mean, when I went to aesthetic school 30 years ago, it was all about, we were doing microdermabrasion in those days, and it was like, I mean, you were beating up the skin. We were
Mhm.
doing AHAs that the percentages were really too high. And we really would kind of train back then, because we hadn't evolved yet, that you had to really beat up the skin or peel in sheets in order to see improvement of your skin. And I feel as we have gone through the decades now, I'm in my, going into my fourth decade of aesthetics, that with ingredients, we've come so far that we can treat skin with no downtime anymore and still get great results. And, I still have clients, this is my aesthetic room, it is part of Anna Lotan. But, I've been an esthetician for so long. I have a few clients that still, want to come to me, and we train in this room too. So, but, my client base has aged with me, and my client base doesn't want downtime. So there's not that there isn't a time and a place, maybe once a year, if someone really needs some more active treatment under medical supervision, that's great. But, we want the clients that are coming back on a monthly basis, because when they come back into our practice, then we have another opportunity to, reevaluate their skin, maybe make some changes in their home care. We're not selling retail to a client unless they're coming into our practice. So we really want to make sure that we're offering treatments that allows them to come back in on a monthly basis or every 6 weeks, whatever their schedule allows. And treatments like this, support that.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's always that great opportunity, as I'm always an advocate of, to retail product, and that gains more loyalty as well, not only being hooked on the results that they're achieving, but what they can maintain at home,
Right.
with retail.
Right.
And it doesn't hurt, Barbara, that we get to age more gracefully because of the
Exactly.
personally on our end, and we certainly have together. You look wonderful, and I just think that that's also why so many people love this industry, and why there's developers out there, continuing to be innovative and cutting edge, because we are all aging, and that is something you want to do in a graceful way, and we have that at our fingertips to be able to support that. It's pretty cool.
Yep. 100%.
Absolutely. Excellent. So, Anna Lotan Pro, there's a Facebook group,
Yeah, so we have
right?
a lot. So the website
Yes.
is annalotanusa.com. Everyone that registers for a pro account with us, and we do actually have to submit your license number with the expiration date. But everyone that registers, we automatically send you a bestseller kit. So it's a sample size, could be 7, 8, or 9 products that we send you to sample, just to kind of as an introduction to the line. So you definitely want to register for a pro account, because you'll get those samples. Once you're registered, though, then you have access to catalogs, price lists. So your customer could go on to the website, but they won't see pricing. So, and they don't get into the back end with protocols and things like that. And we have a Instagram is Anna Lotan Pro USA _ in between, all the words. And then we have a Facebook too, Anna Lotan Pro USA. So, those are where I still use Facebook, but I believe, I think more people are kind of follow us on Instagram now. And we'll always, any kind of promotions, any kind of classes, Instagram and Facebook, they're always going to be, posted there. And if you are on our email list, of course, you'll get, our emails. So we're always coming, we're always doing something new. We have pretty much every month we have a free webinar. Just it could be something to do specifically with Anna Lotan, but not always. Just could be something in the industry in general. So, so log in, sign up, and come along.
Awesome. Very cool.
Awesome.
All right, Barbara, thank you
Thanks,
for your
Jack.
time.
All
Can't
right,
wait to
thank
see you
you.
in person soon. Have a
Okay,
good
all right,
day.
sounds great. Thank
Thank
you.
you, everyone, for listening.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye.